This time on Anchor Swing, we head out on the research vessel Zephyr. Jen loses it, and we do some routine buoy maintenance. Welcome back to Anchor Swing.
Thank you for joining us again.
Today, we embark on RV Zephyr, a research vessel stationed in the Hood Canal. Our voyage aims to inspect and conduct essential maintenance on a wave buoy anchored in the Straits of Juan Fuca.
We're actually not in the Straits of Juan Fuca right now.
We were, though.
Yes.
Right now, we're in our slip outside Portland, Oregon.
Right.
So, the trip to the buoy is about 8 hours, depending upon conditions. So we're casting off early and heading north up the Hood Canal. We've been all over the Puget Sound and the Salish Sea, but never been up the Hood Canal. I was really surprised about how beautiful the Hood Canal is.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
Well, I woke up with a migraine, but that just washed it
Why did you have
away.
a migraine?
I had a couple drinks for dinner the night before. It was Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sensitive to that.
Right.
Yeah.
At the helm is Captain Juan, the owner and operator of Zephyr. He's a wisecracking, movie-quoting guy that probably is the most qualified captain I've ever met. Our connection, are you going to say anything?
I feel like I don't know.
Okay. So our
I
connection...
wanted to say a lot of things, but you keep talking.
Now you know how I feel. I was going to say, our connection with Captain Juan traces back to 2014, maybe a little before.
I think before.
Yeah, I just have pictures of one of the times he towed us. It was on the 4th of July weekend, and the outdrive on our old Cobalt tri-hull went out. And so he towed us. He towed us more than once. Mm-hmm. I think we probably have donated a lot of money to the Zephyr fund when he was saving up to buy her.
It really feels good to be connected with somebody who has so much knowledge.
Yeah.
And he even taught us about how to go across the bar, which I'm scared of. And we kind of feel like we funded his business with all of our towing needs. Because back then, especially, we had a really old boat. You don't have to have a brand new boat to get on the water. Just get out on the water.
Yeah, and make sure you're safe.
And get a towing thing.
And get a towing thing, absolutely. Yeah. Buy a membership, Sea Tow, there's other ones. At that point in time, Captain Ron owned his own business, Columbia River Marine Assist, I think that's what he called it. And so we'd buy membership every year because we seem to get towed a lot, or used to seem to get towed a lot, knock on wood. So we don't like doing the tow of shame.
No,
nobody really does.
And before Captain Ron, I had to try to flag somebody down. That was a really funny story, though, because we were camping on Government Island, and we were there with our small children and all of our camping stuff, and Ted had to sit and steer the boat because we were being towed by some dude. I don't know who he is, but he gave me his number. But the funny part is he's like all this gear on top of him and his boat.
In our boat,
and it's super hot out. And the guy's like, can I have a drink?
Just paint the picture a little more. I was in our boat. Everybody, kids, Jen, and everybody was up in his boat.
Which was this big, comfortable boat.
Right, bigger than this one, I think. Uh-huh. And he's towing us, and all of our camping gear, everything was piled up. I'm basically sitting on top of it back there, sweating like crazy. And he stopped, asked me to give him a drink.
Yeah. So, he was towing us.
He was towing us, and we were thankful for that. But
yes.
Buy a towing membership from your local company or one of the other national companies.
That way you don't have to pimp out your girlfriend to get towed.
Hey, you know what? It got us towed in, right? Anyway, so the trip from...
I wonder if I still have that phone number.
Oh, jeez.
Just kidding.
Man. The trip from where Zephyr is moored up to the buoy is about 72 miles. And so we go up the Hood Canal, we cut through the Admiralty Inlet, and then hook a left out into the Straits of Juan Fuca, and then we travel past Port Angeles, Dungeness Bay, down to where the buoy is at.
I got to drive the boat.
Yeah, you did. I was out recording pictures and video, doing some B-roll and stuff like that of us going under the Hood Canal bridge. And you can see on here that Jen runs across from one side of the pilot house to the other as Captain Ron had asked her if she wants to drive the boat.
Yeah, at first he asked me as a joke going under the bridge because it's really narrow and it'd be hard to take a big boat through that. And I said yes because, you know, I'm game for new adventures. But I did get to drive it after we got into a little bit more open water, and it does. It moves a lot. It's a lot different than driving our boat.
Well, part of that is the control mechanism, right? So instead of having a big wheel on the ship or the boat, he has a stick.
Right.
And so you control left or right rudder based upon that position of the stick. And so it took a little getting used to for you to do that.
Right, because I would watch the stick and not the water, and you have to watch the water and what you're doing with the stick
and
make
the
sure
chart
that,
too.
Yeah, and the chart.
The plotter, yeah. So you got a really good lesson because he took some time with you and explained to you the plotter, how to control the boat, or how to visually navigate distance.
When the boat is pointing back toward that line, it's an angle like that, and bring it back to the center.
Navy Unit 65.
Look at your right turn. You're starting to
This is the State Coast Guard Channel 16.
come back to it.
Come up and enter primary. Out.
It's a little different when you're going 20 knots versus 7, right? So yeah, it's easy. I think it maybe even 20 knots is a little easier because you can just correct and go back over in line. 7 knots, you get 10 knots off. Well, you've got a long time to get back onto course.
Right.
So it has different implications there.
Right. I made some nice little squiggly lines in the water.
Yeah, the navigation line was cool. There's the S turns going up into the Admiral Inlet there. When you were driving the boat, did you see the naval vessel over there shadowing us?
I was busy making S's.
S turns. That's probably why they were shadowing us. There was a naval vessel over on our starboard side. I don't think they were shadowing us, but they were heading out into the Straits of Juan Fuca too. Not sure where they were going, what they were doing.
Maybe they wanted me to tow them.
Maybe so. They're about 500 feet long, and Zephyr's about 85. So, but that makes sense. Like then again, tugboats, they're little. They move boats. They move ships. Yeah, it makes absolute complete sense.
It does. Just because
Yes, the mighty tug.
Mighty Jen.
The mighty Jen. So after about 8 hours-ish, we finally arrived where the buoy was. And so the idea there is to inspect the buoy, see if there's any maintenance or repair or anything that needs to be done. Basically, he needs to do that before the king tides come into the Straits of Juan Fuca. The reason being is if there's a bunch of kelp and growth on the buoy, then that creates more resistance as the water flows through at a higher volume, which then can pull it off its anchor, its moorage. It happened a couple years ago, I guess he said, and they found it miles away. So it's pretty important that they go out there and do this routine maintenance. So that's why we're there. So do this routine maintenance, check on it, make sure that everything's going to be okay through these king tides and beyond.
Right. And you're the one that cleaned off the kelp, right?
Yeah, there was one big giant. It didn't really need to be cleaned, but you wouldn't know if you didn't go out there, right? So we got out there, and basically there's one big giant kelp whip that was laying over the top of it. So we yanked that off. Clear.
You did a good job. You know, cleaning might be something you could try.
We know the truth on that one. I cleaned my boat good, but
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Anyway, so yeah, we cleaned it off, and then it was getting late because this was, February. After leaving in the morning, we only had so many hours of daylight, so we decided, Captain Ron decided, we would anchor for the night in Dungeness Bay, which is just a little bit east of where we were. So we turned the boat around, or he did rather, and took us out to Dungeness Bay and dropped the hook for the night, which is really cool. Zephyr is an amazing boat.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It definitely feels different than sleeping on our boat. It feels like a big house. It's just,
Yeah, so he's got the captain's quarters way up in the bow. And then he's got it built to where I think there's 9 or something like that bunks in there. So he takes out researchers and teams of people to do whatever they need to do, whatever he's contracted to take them out to do. And they all stay on the boat for a period of time, could be days, weeks, whatever. And so he's got it built up on this boat to where he can house everybody in comfortable quarters. We had a queen size bed. It was amazing. And then they have smaller bunks for individuals or whatever, whatnot. And they have a couple of showers, bathrooms, and whatnot. And then he's got a full galley in there. And in
the galley, it has at the restaurants they have the.
He's got the soda dispensers in there.
That's really cool. So, which makes sense because then you don't have to bring a bunch of pop and sparkling water. Because you have it all there.
Just bring the components. Space. Yeah, absolutely. Additionally. He has the ability to modify the electronics and the networking equipment in the Zephyr. So he can set it up to assist with any type of mission that he's on for researchers or whoever he's working with. So there's networking equipment, sonars, all sorts of sensory equipment. They can add and move sensory equipment. They built a big arch with a pulley or a thing on there to pull up heavy equipment out of the water. So Zephyr does some pretty amazing stuff. I've seen some pictures, and we talked to Ron, Captain Ron, fairly often. We get to hear about some of the stories and just some ideas or glimpses of what he's doing out there. And it's pretty neat what he gets to do out there with that ship. So the next morning, you got to do some cool stuff.
I did.
The day before, you got to drive the boat.
You didn't. Well, actually,
I did drive the boat,
but I got to do it first.
You did get to do it first. Yes, women first. The next morning, you got to do something cool.
Yes.
What did you get to do?
I got to start the engine.
You did. That was pretty cool. And what was that like?
It was cool. You had to hit this lever, and you had to pull really hard on it.
So yeah, the engines, he's got 2 big diesel engines in there, and they're too big to start with a battery and a key like a boat or a car or something else like that. He explained to me that in order to do that, you would require an immense amount of power to turn those large engines. So what he does basically is use compressed air.
And he brought somebody powerful like me down here.
He did power. But so you pull the lever and that releases the air, the compressed air in, which hits probably some type of a vane or turbine, and something in the engine that forces it to spin. And it starts up right away. Mm-hmm. So you got to do both engines on that.
Yes, I did.
That was pretty sweet.
How many did you do?
None. That's okay. That's okay. I'm glad you got to do it.
Me too.
And then once the engines were started, you got to do something else that was cool.
What was that?
You got to pull the anchor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get to use the cool windlass. It's not like a windlass on this boat.
Yes, it's definitely different.
It's a big giant spool. I swear the chain was, you know, a good 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch thick, just the actual steel itself, maybe even thicker. But you got to use the windlass and pull that big anchor up, and that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
After you pulled the anchor, Captain Ron turned the boat around, and we headed back east in the Hood Canal, hooked her right there at Port Townsend, and headed towards the Hood Canal. We actually took a shortcut around Indian Island, and then headed down the Port Townsend Canal, which probably cut, I don't know, 30 miles, or maybe not that much, but pretty close to that off of the trip. When you're going 7 to 9 knots, 20, 30 nautical miles is a couple of hours of difference in time. So we actually hit some waves in there too.
That was cool.
That was cool. A lot different hitting the waves on that big ship versus our boat. It was toasty. It was warm inside, dry. I did go outside to clean the window.
Yes, you did.
Because I had a camera set up, and the waves were hitting the window, and the water's rushing off. I'm thinking that we're not going to be able to see, so I went out there like a dinkus and decided
we were checking to see if you were going to get splashed with water.
And I did. I got nailed. I got nailed pretty good.
We were warm inside.
You were warm and dry, and I was out on the bow cleaning the window that got wet again 5 seconds later. But I had to do it, right?
You did, not us.
I did, yeah.
We had to stay warm.
You guys had to stay warm. After coming back down through there, we headed back down the Hood Canal. We're heading south down the Hood Canal to where Zephyr is moored. And we pulled in the marina and went through the process of docking, tying up. It was kind of a different experience than what we do on here.
Oh yeah, the ropes are huge.
Yeah, the lines are huge.
And heavy.
Yeah.
And then they get stuck on themselves. So
On
I
the
had a
cleats
hard
and
time
stuff.
getting it undone because it got really tight.
Right.
So
Well,
they kick it.
well, Zephyr is pretty heavy compared to our boat, so that, you know, pulling and moving and stuff, it's going to cinch down, and he obviously had them tied up right so you could release.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, you just had to kind of work at it a little bit. But yeah, it was fascinating to do that, and I enjoyed I'm always the one docking the boat, so it was kind of nice being on the deckhand side, sitting on the side, and I was calling out distances to him, 5 feet, 4 feet, and whatnot. So it's hard to see in a bigger boat where the edge is, and you can't see the dock from the pilot house.
3 feet, 2 feet.
Okay, go ahead and set the ladder down and go grab that bow line.
All right. Ladder's down. Stern's about 2 feet out. Hold up, Jim. Yep, there you go. Got it around.
Undo it. Got it.
Coming about another 6 inches. Just having a hard time getting the line undone. Push that in through there. Yeah, there you go.
I need to work out more.
You got it. You need me to come up there and help you? There you go. You got it. Nice job. All right, hold her tight. There you go. Figure eights. Nice job, Jen.
This on that there.
Forward around the forward part. Okay. You're on.
I don't know how he does it by himself.
I don't know how he does either.
Yeah.
It's not like you could do it by braille. But
you could. That's probably not good.
probably not.
But he's, I think, 25, 30 years as a professional captain. He knows what he's doing. If anybody could do it single-handed, there's no question that Captain Ron could do it single-handed. So, as you can tell, we got a lot of respect for him. So, yeah, it was absolutely a blast. I love doing it. I would love to go back out on Zephyr and do another adventure. And see, you know, maybe some of the other things that he does, assuming, you know, we could go out on something like that, because I know he goes all over. He doesn't just stay in Puget Sound.
Right.
He's gone up to Alaska, and all sorts of different places down south. You know, yeah, absolutely. Beautiful time, amazing place, and it was a great experience.
It was.
For us. Hope you guys join us for the next adventure.
Yeah.
I think next adventure we're doing a haul out on this boat. We're going to do the bottom paint and change the impeller and hopefully some other things. We've got a radar arch we got to put in. I want to rewire the batteries with an isolator. We got a lot of work to do before we start cruising, because we got some really cool plans for this summer for cruising. Actually more in the fall, but in the summer as well. Yeah. We got something coming up that
I'm going to try to remember all the fun we plan to have on the boat while we're working on the bottom paint.
We've never done bottom paint before, so we don't know what we're doing. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
But you're good at painting walls, so. Yeah.
It can't be any different, right? All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy.
See you soon.
Why do I sound like I have no saliva? I sound like a doofus.
I'll undoof you.
You'll undoof me? You did that this morning.
He likes my doof.
Welcome back to Anchor Swing.
Thank you for showing with us again.
What are they showing us? He's a wisecrapping. Wisecrapping? Well, they are our favorite viewers. You are our favorite viewer. That's not.